My name's Claire Stuart. I'm the curator of the Lowry collection at the Lowry. There's about 400 works altogether. Of those 400, fewer than 60 are oil paintings, so it's by and large, he's a very keen and prolific draftsman, so a lot of drawings.
Yeah.
And then on top of the collection, we've got loans from various private individuals and other museums and galleries, just to kind of mix things up a bit. One of our loans from the Professional Footballers Association is going to the match, which is probably one of his most popular and best known pictures, I suspect. And people do stop in and have a look at it on the way to football matches over the way at Old Trafford and that kind of thing. So it's part of the subject matter. It's one of his bigger pictures. It's just really well known. So I think it's regarded with much affection, really.
Yeah.
But we're really lucky in the collection that we've got quite a few iconic works like Funeral Party and an absolute classic mill scene called Coming from the Mill, things like that. So we've got a few kind of big hitters on display most of the time, actually. Well, we're lucky again because Salford Museum and Art Gallery put the collection together, and then it was transferred here in 2000. And Salford were really good about gathering works and gathering information, and the curators over the years had a really good eye. So the collection covers from his earliest works right up to some of his latest things, and it covers most of the subject matter that he tackled. And if we're looking for loans, then we either look for something that would fill a gap that we don't have in the collection already, or maybe something that's like a drawing for a painting that we have, or vice versa, so there's a really tight link. So there are a few gaps, but we don't have an acquisitions budget, so we don't we're not in a position to be buying works unless we had some massive appeal and went for lots of grants or something like that. So it's nice just to keep things changing with bringing in loans from elsewhere. I think he's still a really popular artist, and I think he's an artist that people regard with a lot of affection because they feel like you can engage with these pictures quite easily. A lot of people see them when they're children because he's hugely popular with school groups still, and he's on the curriculum and that kind of thing. And a lot of people have grown up with sort of parents or grandparents or whatever having prints by Lowry on their walls. Sometimes the downside on that is that people can feel a bit sort of over familiar with them, and they feel like they know what to expect before they come and see us. And actually, if you look at Lowry's work in the flesh, so to speak, and you look at the range of his work, he's not really this sort of cosy, nostalgic artist that some people would sort of pigeonhole him as. There's an awful lot more to him, and he's a lot sort of darker in many ways than people suspect. And I think sometimes that gets a little bit overlooked in the mix. So I think people feel that they can engage with his work quite easily. And I think that's true. It's certainly easy to get a sort of first sort of knowledge of his work. I think if you look a bit deeper, then you get surprised by some of the subjects they paint. I mean, a lot of people still don't realise he did so many seascapes and landscapes, things like that. I'm trying to think. And I think, rightly or wrongly, he does remind people of their past and their family's past, and of places that have changed or even don't exist any longer in Salford. So there is an element of sort of nostalgia that creeps into it, I think. I think he'd be astonished. I mean, the strange thing is that, as far as I know, he really didn't make any drawings or paintings of the docks here in Salford. And I think he's sort of jokingly said to one of his friends, Harold Riley, who was also an artist, Riley asked him why that was, and Lowry made some kind of joke about, well, he always got off the bus on the other side of the road. But he paints the docks in other places, in Glasgow and Newcastle and so on. When he's living in Mottram and he's there for, sort of 30 years or so, he does come back into Manchester, and he says at that point in the 60s that, he barely recognises some places, and that people bump into you in the street because it's so busy and all this kind of thing. So I think he would find Salford Quays almost unrecognisable now.